Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for October 5th. So, I want to do just a little bit of a deeper dive on, the King of the Con, because it seems like lately, if it wasn't for bad luck, truly he wouldn't have any at all. His, court cases are getting tossed out of court. The ones that aren't getting tossed out of court are going ahead if he doesn't want them to. Um, Georgia's investigating him, and of course he's so um, whipped up about Georgia. I don't know how many of you heard this. I had heard about it when it happened. It was sometimes, I think, like not this past weekend, but the weekend before. In any case, he was doing a rally in Georgia, and he suggested that he should probably he was going to endorse, or he was thinking about endorsing, or what if he did endorse Stacey Abrams, because he doesn't like Kemp. Okay, Kemp, won't play ball with him, and so Trump, because he's a bit of a loon, is just going to encourage all of his MAGA base to vote for a Democrat. Go figure, eh? So things aren't going well for the guy. And I just think it would be, I just want to take a look. This is the thing. One of the things that I remember hearing quite a while ago was that, and I mean, this is obvious, okay, so it's not like this is going to be news to anybody. One of the perks that he really enjoyed about, having that office was that vengeance was his to disperse, okay? I mean, that's what it's all about with him. It's about vengeance. It's about getting even with people who, won't do what he wants, or won't play ball the way he wants, or however you want to say it. I mean, I do remember hearing when Ivanka was in school, right? One of her famous go-tos when something didn't go her way was, do you know who my father is? I guess that's sort of a variation of my dad can beat up your dad, right? I mean, just these people don't know how to hear the word no, okay? And they don't know how to hear the word no without instantly thinking, I have to get you somehow, right? I mean, it's just what they are. So I want to take a look and just see how bad things are going to be in October, and I think November and December. I think we're just going to look at the next 3 months for portly gentleman in Florida, and just see what's going on with him. Come on down, I have a question. Okay, so Trump the rest of the year. Trump the rest of the year. Trump the rest of the year. Oh, there he is. Okay. Move this over, get those cards out of the glare. Okay, so what have we got here? We have, okay, so first of all, he is not going to receive any breaks as far as any legal matters go. It doesn't matter whether it is state, whether it is federal, whether it is, the city of New York. Things aren't going to go well for him. They're not going to let up. And I think that this is part of what he's having a hard time understanding is, he really believes that there is the right way, the wrong way, and his way. And the reality is that's not actual truth. And so he is going to continue to struggle. He is going to continue to as crazy as it seems, in his own way, he's actually going to start alienating his base. Okay. And, while Giuliani's out there saying, well, I don't know where these rumors came from. I just heard them and I thought I should repeat them. Well, most of those people are not even going to listen to that. They're going to say, I don't know, the media, is distorting stuff or something. I don't know. Um, but he is going to continue to say little things that just are starting to going to cause people to shake their head, like, saying that he thinks people should, vote for Stacey Abrams. He is also going to be really sort of obsessed with trying to keep as much as he can hidden from view. And that's actually not going to work out very well for him because he doesn't have the kind of authority or clout that would allow that to work for him. Okay. So, what you're going to see over the next 3 months really does appear to be if it wasn't for bad luck, he'd have none at all. That really, really is the feeling. There's going to be significant losses that he is going to have to continue to, take the blow for, if you will, right? The courts are not going to go in his favor. There's going to be stuff leaked. There's going to be I'm hearing the word indictments, but I just don't know if it's coming for him or it's just inching closer, or perhaps one of the indictments that has already been is out there has perhaps starting to pay dividends that, of course, we don't know about. But I can tell you, based on what I'm seeing here, it's not going to go well for him. And those who are investigating him their cases are getting stronger and stronger. Okay, so he just is going to continue to be in this kind of state of emotionally kind of treading water, physically treading water. I don't know what that's about, but there's some issues with his health. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like, stomach issues and high blood pressure and that kind of thing. Just given the amount of stress he is under because he's so busy trying to keep everything shrouded in secrecy. Um, Politically, it's not going to go well. Financially, legally, like you just name it, it's not going to go well for him over the next 3 months. And I have to tell you, energetically, it really does feel as if no matter how hard he pushes back, no matter how hard he tries, of course, not that he actually ever tries anything except like going after his enemies, but he's going to continue to face ongoing setbacks. And frankly, they're going to be setbacks that don't resonate well. Okay, so he's going to continue to have, I believe he just lost a bunch of his lawyers. I know Eric Trump did, but I actually believe that there are lawyers for him or the corporation that have just walked away. So it's going to continue to be a kind of a uphill battle for him. But make no mistake, he is going to keep pushing, okay? He is not going to back down or back off because that's just not something at this point he is prepared to do. But of course, every time he opens his mouth, he makes it absolutely worse for himself. And he's not yet quite figured out that his time as being one in authority and position and power has come to an end. Okay, he is not going to be able to resurrect, I guess, if you will, that political career of his. He's going to have some sway over 2022, I'm sorry to say, but at this point, that's kind of what it looks like. But going forward, he is not going to have the promise or the opportunity to regain his status, regain the White House, regain any actually sort of political power. As he goes forward, I think 2024 is going to be a complete washout for him. He is not, however, going to stop dangling it like a carrot because it is a heck of a good donations. It's a good way to just bring in buckets and buckets and buckets of money. He has all of these, defense fund, I guess, things set up. So, help fund my defense, except he's actually not defending himself about anything. Now, of course, that could be also just because, there haven't been any significant charges laid against him. But be that as it may, he is just not understanding that hope and that promise, that's gone. And eventually, he's actually going to start to see, like, not start to see, a continuation of his resources shrinking. You know, he's at a place where he is just going to do everything and anything he can do. Don't be surprised at all if there aren't connections or interactions with other governments, kind of like a repeat of what happened in 2016. Except this time, those people who monitor that kind of stuff are on to him's games, and they're not going to keep things close to the vest. They're going to, you know, keep on making things known. So I gotta say, it looks like the next 3 months are not going to be really all that good for him. He refuses to see what's in front of him. There's all these decisions he has to make. He's not capable of making them. Um, you know, he still thinks that he's in a position of strong bargaining power, and you know, it really doesn't look so much like he is. It feels as if um, he's not going to be able to, curry the favor that he once was able to. It feels as if he's not going to be able to keep. Um, I almost want to say like things in their separate lanes. So it feels like personal problems are going to start overlapping with business problems. Business problems are going to start overlapping with, um, investigations. Like it just feels like this, all of these separate investigations and separate lanes that are going on. It feels like they're going to start crisscrossing and leaping over each other, because in some ways, a lot of this information that's being gathered really can. Um, I I don't know that I want to use the word shared, but it's going to be kind of passed. There's going to be some information going kind of from one investigation to another investigation, and you can expect more of that. And I have to tell you, it feels like some of the investigations are sort of ones that are maybe you just wouldn't quite expect. I also don't think, I mean, he's got that recount going on in Texas, which is an absolute joke. Um, Things in Idaho didn't go quite the way he expected on that recount. I mean, every time he demands one of these recounts, he loses votes, right? He finds out that maybe it's 30 votes or maybe it's 150 or whatever it is, but he keeps discovering that Biden actually won by more votes than anybody thought he did. And so it's just going to be that kind of continual bad news, bad luck. It's just not going to come together for him in a way that is going to be in his favor. Now, yeah, the harder he tries to get out from under this, honestly, the crazier the things are that come out of his mouth. He's going to be receiving bad news behind the scenes. He's going to be receiving bad news publicly. And he is just going to continue to get more and more worked up, more and more agitated. I got to tell you, man, I don't think Thanksgiving's going to be very much fun in that family. And I really don't think Christmas is going to be very much fun in that family. And it's interesting because you have these pentacles. You've now got the the Page of Pentacles, Wands, and Cups all sitting here in a nice little tight circle. And this, I really feel, has more to do with his children. Okay. So it feels like um, Don Jr., I believe, is still going to hold him up like he is some kind of miracle worker, a something. But that has more to do with Junior's needs to be loved and accepted by this man than any actual real understanding of sort of what's circling around not only his dad, but himself and the family, the company. So he just doesn't get a lot of what's going on. You know, they have always been able to really push back simply because um, some of those little tricks they had worked, right? Well, I'm going to sue you, and people would back off. The reality now is that everybody's had like what 5, 6 years of this family being under a microscope, and all of their little games have sort of been dissected. And you know, more and more, you're just going to see that they don't have kind of that power. It's interesting because it wouldn't be surprising at all to me if Eric didn't, if there wasn't some news about Eric that came out that really, really gets his dad right riled up. And Ivanka is going to continue to sort of be MIA, right? I mean, she's gotten very quiet. She doesn't have a lot to say. She's kind of hovering in the background. I think they think that if, they lay low enough, long enough, people are going to forget. People are not going to forget, okay? They're just not. And in some ways, I mean, okay, like let's face it, okay? And I'm not even casting aspersions. I really do think I'm probably stating fact. These guys are not exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer, okay? And it has been so exposed. And so a lot of the people in their social circles, and this would includes daddy, a lot of the people in their social circles who sort of rolled their eyes behind these guys' back, but accepted them, but tolerated them, even befriended them, are now frankly embarrassed to be around them. They don't want to be associated with them. And these guys are going to find that more and more the only people who embrace them is that extreme radical right. Okay? So listen up. This is the thing. If if who you can count among your closest, nearest and dearest are the likes of Hannity and the right-wing radio people, his name is escaping me, there's two of them actually, um, the you know the Gomets and the Gateses and the Greens, okay, you're not really flying around in very good company, okay? So that's kind of what I'm seeing. I don't know, for some reason it really feels like more and more there is going to be over the next 3 months. Now, and this is the thing I have to tell you, it does not feel like it's going to build up and crash. All it feels like is the momentum is going to pick up speed, and it's going to keep going upward and upward and upward until finally it hits this place where it kind of implodes in on itself. But I don't see that happening, honestly, kind of until into the new year. Um, And don't be surprised also if you start to see some sort of, I don't know, I almost want to say like family bickering being made public somehow. Yeah, there's no way for these people to go. There's just not. Oh my goodness. Okay. So here, these four cards, I'm going to say they probably tell the entire reading, and 4 cards or less, right? You have a bunch of people starting with daddy and working on down who are literally imprisoned. They are trapped. There is not a good way for them to go forward. They don't understand or completely comprehend the power of the stuff that they said before, the stuff that they did before, that which is documented, that which is on tape, that which is, holds legal power. They don't get that all of that is going to be used against them. They just don't, because in some way they've not actually ever had, I guess I want to say, experience with things not going against them, with things going against them to the magnitude they are now. They're going to continue to have a lot of financial problems, and they're going to continue to keep alienating people who sort of have the, I guess, potential to help them, or who have been in their circle up until now. They're going to keep losing people. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. Oh, did you hear about Lewandowski? So he has now been expelled from the Trump circle because all of the things he did, and they were too numerous to name, it didn't matter. He assaulted somebody, that didn't matter. There was, physical assaults, there were sexual assaults, none of that mattered until he sexually assaulted one of Trump's donors, one of the money people. That was it. He's gone. But But as I said, you're going to continue to see more and more people kind of deserting them, and that sense that they really, really are um, kind of being left on their own. And like I say, the wagons are circling around them. Unfortunately, there's two rings, right? There's their inner ring that they still believe is supporting them and loving them and feeding him all this crap about how he's lost the election and he's amazing and all that nonsense. But the outer circle is the law, it's justice, it's the investigations, and they're all creeping closer and closer to him. And when judgment comes, it's going to be harsh, and it's going to have a lot of sort of karmic implications. Partnerships that they have had are going to, that they shouldn't have had perhaps, are going to be exposed, or shady dealings within those partnerships are going to be exposed. He has the most risk, as horrible as the things that he did while in office are. You know, everything from election fraud, election interference, you know, some of his policies that are unbelievably cruel. But again, that's his thing, right? I get to be cruel, and if you don't play, I get to be vengeful, right? Um, but honestly, it really does feel like his biggest exposure comes with money. It comes to sort of the dealings that he has had around money. And I have to tell you, he's got the hangman here. It's just not good. Okay. Like, I could go on and on for another 10 minutes about this, but really, he's going to have a very difficult rest of the year. He is going to he's going to, in some ways, not even understand that this is escalating and it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. He's going to lose support. He's going to lose money. He's going to lose position. He's going to lose power. And people, particularly Republicans, I want to say at the state level, are going to start getting really fed up with him because, you know, he's insisting on these audits and they're blowing up in his face one right after the other, but he keeps demanding them. And, you know, it's costing the states, right? It's costing them money and assets and time, court fees. So, you know, there's just like a real lot, like a real lot going on there that really doesn't bode well. So it feels as if the next 3 months are going to be difficult. It doesn't feel like there's going to be real definitive things happening, or certainly not a lot of definitive things, okay? There might be an indictment or two, there might be charges laid, but it feels smaller, okay? Because again, you know, and I've said this before and it bears repeating, they're going after a former president of the United States. Whether he was legitimate or not, whether he was horrible or not, none of that matters. He had the title. And they're making sure, they have to make sure that they are, you know, those T's are crossed and those I's are dotted, and they've covered this thing from every single possible angle, because the people who, the agencies who are going after him, and by extension his family, they do not need mud on their face because they move too fast, okay? Because you have to understand, he still has the support of a portion of the country. And so it's not just, well, just charge him and get it done. It's not going to work like that. It's going to take time. It's going to grind along, but it's going to ultimately bring him down. So this year, the rest of this year is going to be a little tough. I think next year is going to be much worse for him. And I certainly feel as if his children, honestly, it feels as if I kind of see, you know, them turning against him, him turning against them. Poor little Junior's in the middle, not knowing which way to turn because he's confused about everything. But it feels like there's going to be some betrayals literally coming from within the family unit. So that's what I know. It looks like it's going to be difficult. And it looks like when he looks back on 2021 from, 2022, 3, and 4, he's actually going to realize that 2021 was a bit of a cakewalk, as crazy as that sounds right now. And I get it sounds a little crazy. Okay, so thank you so, so much for the support, all of it. It's amazing, and I thank you. There is going to be, for those of you who are interested, another in-depth video coming out tomorrow on Wednesday at the Soulprint Insights channel. It would be, for those of you who subscribe to the Insights channel or are thinking of it, it would actually be really good for you guys to just hit that notification bell, because there are times where, I might do one a week for a period of time, but then I might not do any for a couple of weeks. And that tends to mean that, the next time a video is put out, you guys aren't getting sort of the notifications. It's not like showing up kind of on your feeds. So it might be a good idea to just hit that notification bell. But anyways, yeah, so that's going to be out tomorrow. We're going to be looking at soul groups and how they're comprised, what they're comprised of, how they come together, how they sort of drift apart. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being on my Insights channel. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.